Hi there, morning, folks. And it's the first time I'm seeing all of you as opposed to you just hearing me, because yesterday I did do our first show of 2023, which I'm happy to report on Clock in the Gallop was a very popular one because the Ghost Rider tipped the first PA of the new year and made a profit, a nice healthy profit. And not only that, Lyall Cooper, I snuck in a preview with Tony Riverland from KwaZulu-Natal in the last 48 hours. And he was responsible for a 12-1 exacta yesterday in the penultimate race. And he was very forthcoming with his information. He said to me, Nico, the two horses, there's not much between them, but he did like the winner, Kimura. But he also thought that the runner-up had a big chance. But a warm welcome to you and a very happy new year to you and your family, and all the best, and may it be a prosperous one, as well as for Clock in the Gallop fans.
Yeah, thank you, Nico. It's good to have you back. And your first comment, you said, good to see everyone. I don't know how you're seeing everyone. All you're seeing is me. Yeah, but it's lovely to be back. And we'll be working again today, you and I, at Turffontein.
Well, we'll be working today, which in case we'll see everyone there at the course, because everyone that does come out of the course will see us. We'll see them. You and I are presenting together on a day where there are some feature races out at Turffontein today. It's effectively the New Year's Day meeting, but it's held on the 2nd, which is a public holiday today. So we're looking for a good turnout at Turffontein because there's some nice horses in action today, and we've got some strong thoughts, both you and I, on those.
Yeah, we do. I've got some nice strong bankers today. And some other races are pretty open, but at least we've got those bankers that I like. We'll see if you like them as well.
Okay, well, we'll go through the card. But just before we do that, we've got an important port of call to make first, an important motion of business. And that is our Clock in the Gallop direct line, which, as you know, Lyall, we're all involved in, and we all put together our assumptions and thoughts and put them into a sheet of paper, which is sent out to everyone on a daily basis for 4 days. And I'm just going to quickly take the punters through this. If you haven't heard already, the Clock in the Gallop direct line is back for this coming weekend's racing, which features the Lomarant King's Plate on Saturday, the 7th of January. But we're starting the week early on Thursday with our meeting at the Lyall, then moving into Friday's meeting at Fairview, Saturday at Kenilworth, and the Sunday meeting at Scottsville. So you're getting 4 meetings. It'll cost you 250 Rand. We'll offer all our selections. The team does get together, deliberates, very healthy discussions, which Lyall will attest to in a moment, about the races that are taking place. Lyall, just very quickly, if I could just bring you in there. We do have healthy, long discussions between all the team members about what to eventually include. So the difference between our Clock in the Gallop previews that you'll see versus the Clock in the Gallop direct line is, the Clock in the Gallop direct line is a joint collaborative effort.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We laugh a lot, Nico, especially you and I. We laugh a lot, and we have a lot of fun. And the guys take it very seriously, and it's a very talented team. It's been a privilege being part of it.
Yeah, okay. So that's coming up later on this week. Don't forget, if you want to be part of it, 250 Rand is the cost. Just deposit into the FNB account on the screen at the moment, and then use your name and your mobile numbers reference. Send it through to us, that proof of payment, to our email address, clockinthegallop@gmail.com, or send it via WhatsApp to us on 079-390-5747, and then you'll come on board and you'll receive notification from us that you are on board. It's growing substantially over the last 48 hours, and especially after yesterday's success as well, it continues to grow. So let's move into today's meeting. And Lyall, we've got 9 races on the cards today. The going is good to soft. I can confirm that our going is good to soft. The penetrometer reading is 26. And I'm just looking at the latest release, which was only yesterday afternoon, actually. They had 26.5 millimeters of rain on New Year's Day and overnight into New Year. But the going was good to soft. I suspect it might well have dried out a little bit more since then, because I didn't have any rain where I am, although it threatened to rain, but I didn't have any rain here yesterday where I live.
No, us too. But yeah, that new drainage, I think it'll drain nicely. If the sun stays and it stays like this, I think by the time we race, it could be good, Nico. Could be good.
Okay. So we've got 9 races carded. It is on the Standside track. First race pretty early, 12:15 for a maiden plate over 1,000 meters. And in the first race of the day, number 10, Secret Reef. You can put the blinkers on Secret Reef now. I think that's the only change that I can come up with. Whilst I get the betting up, Mr.
Yes.
Cooper. The interesting runner, obviously, in the first race has to be the newcomer, number 12, Civil Princess. I say that because I remember she was meant to make her debut not so long back. And I think that early money did come for her there. And I had an opportune moment to speak to Lawrence Werner's aside.
Oh, good.
This is the same horse. And I said to him, what about that horse that was meant to run today, but was scratched? And there was no official comment from him to me, but I just judging by the facial expressions that he responded with, this is something.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I went and looked at the breeding. The mare won over 1,200 meters, so she had the speed in Argentina. And Daniel Boone is a fairly new sire, as far as I know, Nico.
Yeah,
I went and looked, but
I tried to look up about it. You know, the best person to obviously speak about on this one would be Justin Vermaak, who bought this horse for Lawrence when he went to Argentina. But we've got Puerto Manzano running later on. And if that's anything to go by, well, that's turned out to be. I think that she's something, this horse. We'll obviously have a good look at her, the course, but the betting suggests, when I bring it up, that that there is lots of money on this today.
Yeah, she's obviously very nasty bred, and we'll see. Have you got the betting up yet?
I haven't. I'm trying to get in there, but apparently it can't open the right page, so I'm battling a little bit with that.
Okay, but she was a favourite last time. Last time I looked, she was a 12-10.
Yes.
So certainly a lot of money. So the way we need to play this first race is either you go for her, and I'm glad that you'll be in the parade ring, because you can have a look for the punters and tell them what you think. So it's either her or the horses with experience, which of the horses with experience, I'm narrowly going for number 2, Iron Sky, Stu Pellegrini, Cabello Matagnani. The form's there. Number 3, which is Dungeons. I remember this horse when it went for 20-1. I made it my value bet for the quartet, and it's improving, and it beat Iron Sky last time. And then, of course, number 1, Var Park, who's got some really good form earlier in his career, but he is held in the last run, so it's very confusing. And then a horse like number 11, Rocking the Time Away, could be there and thereabouts. Malasela Kajedi, I think he's a decent apprentice, this one, Nico, that rides number 11. So it's either the first timer or 2, 1, 3, and 11 in that order for me. I'm not sure what you thought.
You know, interesting that you bring up Rocking the Time Away, because I'm going to hopefully get the betting up. But interesting that you should say that, because when I looked last night, it was something like 12-1. There are 2 fillies. Obviously, the rest are colts. These are 2 fillies at the bottom of the weights. But she's a 4-year-old filly only carrying 55. So she, as the sort of most accomplished horse in terms of number of runs, carries the lowest weight. I thought that she was quite juicily priced at 12-1 in terms of her form, and maybe just
Good point.
She could well come into it. But I think everything hinges. I'm just looking now. Civil Princess is actually shortened into 7.5 to 10.
Now,
from 12 to 10. Yeah. So it does. There's certainly something going on there, and I suspect that she'll be the right horse over here. So let's wait and see when we get to the track on that first race. But that does look like where the business is. Okay, 9 races. Race 2 is the start of the bipod at 12:50, 10-1. It's a maiden play fillies and mares over 1,400 meters. Just going to the changes in the second race. Number 2, Tree Fairy, has blinkers on. So blinkers go on number 5, and then that's the only change really there. Give us your thoughts on the second and the way you saw the second panning out.
Well, I think it's quite competitive. I see that October Fair was the favourite, but when I studied this race, I quite liked number 3, Sky Velocity, who's running again. Ran on the 29th of December, so ran 3 lengths behind Black Lightning. Keegan de Mello for Johan Jans van Vuren, the draw of 1. I thought that was the value, Nico. It was about 9-2. And then, of course, the obvious one, number 11 and 12, October Fair and Written in the Sand. They both must have chances. They're both very much in the betting. And then a horse like number 5, Tree Fairy, funny enough, the one you mentioned there. If we look at Tree Fairy, the last run, she's 2.25 lengths behind Powers That Be, and she's 2.5 kilograms better off. And on the run behind Run for Cover, she's 2.25 lengths behind Sky Velocity and 2 kilograms better off. Blinker Strike, she's 14-1. She has to be value for at least a place. So for me, 3, 11, 12, and 5.
Okay, right. What I'm going to do, courtesy of soccershop.bet, because I know that they have, I can't access where we normally get our betting, but
Okay.
I know that Soccer Shop do, will have upgraded their website. So it also gives us a chance to look at this website over here. So I'm just going to put this betting up. This was the first race betting, where you'll see that Civil Princess here is 8-10. Iron Sky was 5-1. Brosnan, which is another first timer, was 5-1. There's been a bit of money for that, actually. Dungeons was at 8-1. You've got to take one off these prices. VAR Park was 10-1. So that's the way. And there's our Rocking the Time away at 12-1. There we can see that roughly there that we liked at 12-1. But basically, Civil Princess is there. And then let's go to the second race, which we're currently talking about. And there you've got October Fair at 22-10. Written in the Sand. Now, great for the Habib stable to have had 3 winners last Thursday.
Yes. It was wonderful.
I thought that was absolutely wonderful. And this filly, Written in the Sand, is related to Matador Man and to Hawker Typhoon. And I think we'll get the trip. The problem for me with October Fair was the trip, actually. 1450. I had a question mark against the distance on October Fair because I remember the mother, Miss October, was a sprinting filly. Now, then you go to a horse like Spielberg. She's the half-sister to Spielberg, but Spielberg's by Futura. Now, if anyone gets a horse to stay, it'll be Futura, let alone Silvano. And Spielberg doesn't stay. Spielberg is sprinter. So I'm not convinced October Fair gets the trip of 1400. We'll see today.
Miss October won 5 times over 1,000 meters straight.
Right.
So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, she was an Aventure horse, raced in Aventure's colours. So, what about this daughter of Kingman, Call to Glory?
Oh, wow.
Extremely well bred out of Smart Call.
Yeah, I wrote you extremely well bred, will improve. Obviously, a disappointing debut, went off at 16-1. So I'm going to sit on the fence today. But again, I'm glad you'll be upstairs to have a look at this horse. And any money coming, we'll take big notice. This is beautifully bred. But I thought the 3 and the 5 were a bit of value here, Nico.
Okay, so Sky Velocity and Tree Fairy. I think this is a tough race. I think it's a lot tougher than it purports to be when you look at it.
It's tough.
When I was looking at Ashley Fortune's comments on A Touch of Sugar, and number 8, which has got no chance on form, she said in the front here that it will improve after its rest since July. So I think there's quite a few improvers over here, but I'm not convinced that October Fair will see out the 1400 at Turffontein on the Standside track. I much prefer, for me, Written in the Sand, being from a form yard that's now had 3 winners. And Lorena
I'm taking on the favourite as well.
And Lorena sits on that. So the general consensus there is that we're taking on the favourite in race number 2, the opening leg.
We are.
Okay, let's go to the start of the PA now. Race 3 opens that up at 1. It's a maiden over 1,400 metres. And in the third race, I don't pick up any changes as of this morning thus far anyway. In fact, there is one, and that one involves number 5, Fish Eagle, who has Alamites in front and races Unshod behind. Now, Archimedes is the favourite here at just short of 4-1, number 7, after 2 successive seconds. Camley, Court and Free Movement are at 4-1. Brave Viking is at 6-1, that's number 4. And then Fish Eagles at 7-1. Equestrian Affair at 8.5-1 with Cash Slip. Give us your thoughts. What did you think in the first leg of the PA today?
Well, again, at first when I looked, it looked easy, but the more I went into it, the more difficult it became. We've got some nice bankers later. A few with chances, Nico. I thought Camley Court had a definite chance. The draw of 10, not ideal, but Diego de Gavea for the Aussie team. The mare went over 16 to 2,000 meters, so just going to get better as going up in trip. I know she is running over the same trip here. Black Lightning came out and won from that form line on Thursday. So for me, Camley Court's the value. Obviously, number 7, Archimedes, is a big runner here. The 10, Free Movement. That was not a bad debut at all. And LMB came out from that form line and won on Thursday as well. So that form line's been franked. And then a horse like number 4, Brave Viking. Number 12, Silvano's Song. Not easy, this, Nico. But I'm going to go 8 from 7 and then 10. But I'm loading up in the PA.
Okay, so that's interesting that you're taking that view of loading up, because I thought exactly the same thing, actually. I don't think it's clear cut. By
No.
the way, my first choice would also be Camley Court here, number 8.
Good.
Son of William Longsword. Again, the draw puts me off a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think that, he's got the breeding to go close over here. And I think there's little in it between Archimedes and Camley Court. So wherever I put the 7, I'll put the 8.
Agree.
Interesting horse for me, Lyall, that I wanted to ask you about was this horse, Equestrian Affair. I know it's come off a long break, but rested 5.5 months. But that horse, Wiccan Warrior, is not too bad. I see it's running in Cape Town now. So if Gareth Van Zyl thought was good enough to take to, was it Gareth or Gavin that trains that? I think it's Gareth that trains Wiccan Warrior.
Question. Oh, yeah.
If it's gone to run in Cape Town, then, it's got to be fairly decent for them to take it all that way.
Yeah, you make a point. Good point, Nico. So it has to be included as well in what's a tough race.
Yeah. Okay, shortlist for the PA, though?
I would go 8, 7, and 10. I would like to put number 5 as well. I think number 5 is a runner too. And the form line from Fish Eagle does come up from race 1. So we'll know by then how that form line, that wind-water form line works in race 1.
Yeah, okay.
I don't mind Fish Eagle either. It's tough. I would go 4 of them.
Yeah, I was disappointed with the Fish Eagle's last run. It ran 6.5 minutes back, but I think Munger must have got off and said, put this over further. It can't sprint. Well, it can't. It's too quick for it. 1200
needs more,
so it needs further. So I think that must have come from. That's why he's back on it. That's just a presumption, obviously, but obviously they're trying to go further. Anyway, so Lyall and I both like 8 and 7 here as our top choices here: Camley Court and Archimedes. But there are a few others. I've mentioned Equestrian Affair. Lars mentioned Free Movement and Fish Eagle. It's not as clear cut as we want it to be. Anyway, let's move on to our betting again, and we'll go on to the start of the pick 6. I'll hook that up now. This is a Pinnacle Stakes over 1,400 meters. Number 2, Iliad. No blinkers now, with a compression mask on, Iliad, and has earmuffs on. This was coming back from a 6.5 month rest, Iliad. And that's the changes with regard to race number 4, just the changes on Iliad. Now, here's the betting courtesy of one of our sponsors, and Dice is the favorite at 28-10. The filly Under Your Spell is at 33-10. We've got Duke of Sussex at just short of 4-1, Out of the Darkness at 4-1, and then it is 9-1 Humdinger and Better the Others. Pinnacle Stakes 1,400 meters operates on bands of merit rating, exactly how they weight it. But the important thing is that the fillies or mares get a 3 kilogram sex allowance in this race. And that obviously gives them a slight advantage. And some of those are fillies. Now, I had a very interesting take on this race. I studied this race for a long time. And I've come up with an interesting take on it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts first.
I wonder if we're not talking about the same horse here. Is it by any chance Fateful Day?
It is indeed Fateful Day.
Yeah.
It is indeed
Fateful Day. And that's because the time he won the consolation was better than the actual heritage itself. Yeah. And he's 2.5 kilograms better, and Duke of Sussex remains the same, correct?
Was one of the strong points, but I looked into it even deeper. And I think it is time we called upon our good friends at Form Grids, actually. If I can just stop this now, because whilst we're talking, in your book, you'll be able to see it, right? Yes. But some people might not be able to see it. So I do want to bring this up, because this is what we're all about here on Clocking the Gallop. We don't like just tipping horses and telling people why, and that we'd like to show them for themselves so that they can do the homework themselves too. So let's go to our friends at Form Grids, and I want to just bring this up for you. Now, in your book, Lyall Cooper, if you look back, and it was pretty early this year, to a date on the 2nd of April, what do you see there?
Nordic Rebel Run.
Yes, correct. The Nordic Rebel Run. And for the punters out there, this is what we're going to be talking about. Now, we saw the betting show Duke of Sussex a lot shorter than Fateful Day, is actually 18-1, Lyall.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Fateful Day is 18-1. Now, here is what we're going to tell you. Here is Duke of Sussex, and here is Fateful Day. They ran, as Lyall correctly mentioned, in the two big races on Grand Heritage Day. Duke of Sussex won the main Grand Heritage Day, and Fateful Day won the consolation race. Fateful Day comes in with 49.5 kilos. But the interesting race that I'd like to go back to is the race on the 2nd of April, which is race number 792. That's the reference, which is here. And here is the nub of the conversation and of the argument. In this race, Fateful Day carried 55 kilos and ran 1.6 lengths, dead heat third behind Nordic Rebel over the Turffontein 1,600 meters. This is 1,400, so a bit shorter. Duke of Sussex carried 57 and ran 0.9 of a length behind Fateful Day. Duke of Sussex goes down 3 kilos. Fateful Day goes down 5.5 kilos. So Fateful Day is 2.5 kilograms better off, beat it by 0.9 of a length. And one of them, Fateful Day, is 18-1, and Duke of Sussex is a lot shorter when we go back to that betting. Here's the betting. Duke of Sussex is less than 4-1. Fateful Day is 18-1. Now, if you go on that one Nordic Rebel run, there's quite a bit to choose on that. So that will be our value, won't it, today?
Great, value. Value bet straight off.
Yeah. Not drawn particularly well, though, is the negative.
True. That is true. You're right. So it's not easy. This race is not easy.
Yeah.
But we're just picking up the value here. It's a very good price.
So that anyway, so I'm happy that you've picked that out. So give us the short list of names over here that you're going to go for.
All right. So obviously, Dice is not particularly well weighted here, but Dice is a big runner. I know this horse is just top class, and he almost pulled it off last time. He's 1.5 kilograms better off with Duke of Sussex. So he's my first selection from the 12, Fateful Day, who is my second straight selection. And then, of course, the very talented and very nicely weighted Under Your Spell, also not drawn well. Calvin Abib for Sean Terry. She's just so good, this daughter of Cape Town Wire. And then we also have to mention horses like Out of the Darkness and Duke of Sussex, obviously, and Humdinger. You can't leave Humdinger out here with 53 kilograms and Cabello Matagnani, nicely weighted. This is a tough race, Nico. Even if you look at a horse like Supreme Quest, if you go all the way back to that run behind Under Your Spell, was beaten 3/4 of a length. He's 6 kilograms better off with Under Your Spell. Oh, goodness. This is a tough race, Nico. So I'm glad we both found a value, but I'll go pretty wide in the bets.
Okay. I made a Duke of Sussex a runner. Like you, I made Dice a runner. But I thought that the value definitely lay with Fateful Day, the winner of the consolation coming to Turffontein, recently been gelded, by the way, and offers up some opportunities there. Okay, let's move on to race 5, which is the Grade 3 Tony Ruffle Stakes over 1,400 meters. In the 5th race, number 2, Royal Victory, has got blinkers on. It's an important change because this horse has never worn the blinkers before, but gets them on today. And I know that you've been batting on quite a bit about Royal Victory in the Tony Ruffle Stakes. Lyall, tell us why you like Royal Victory so much.
All right, so Nico, I really studied this race quite hard, and he literally holds the whole field. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Last time out, when he ran against Union Square, 1 or 2 people mentioned him, and I almost laughed at them. I said, "Oh no, Royal Victory is not going to run, that sort of race," and he did. So his runs are just phenomenal. That's second to Cousin Casey, his 3rd behind Anfield's Rocket, his 4th behind Union Square last time, drawn 12 of 13. And just to give the viewers out there one example, he beat Thunderstruck by 1.5 lengths, and he's 3 kilograms better off today. He thrashed Thunderstruck on the Anfield's Rocket.
His draw was worse than Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck,
correct.
We could give Thunderstruck an out there, but he was drawn worse than Thunderstruck.
Correct. And Thunderstruck is a really good animal. Now I Got You is held by Royal Victory on the Cousin Casey form lines. Royal Golden Prospect is held twice by Royal Victory on the Cousin Casey form lines. River Ditchio is held on the Anfield's Rocket form line. He just holds them, Nico. It's as simple as that. I have utmost respect for Thunderstruck. He's a Group 1 winner. We know that.
So and
he could
that's the reason,
right back.
By the way, that's the reason why he carries 60. Because he is the Group 1 winner in this race. If you're a Group 1 winner, you pick up a 3-kilogram penalty. So that is the reason why he carries 60 and Royal Victory carries 57.
Yeah, so on paper, Nico, Royal Victory cannot lose this race.
Yeah.
They don't run on paper. So Thunderstruck, obviously, very decent individual. Arrivederci ran a good second last time and a good time. They'd be the dangers, but we got to take a stance somewhere. And on paper, Royal Victory looks very hard to beat.
Okay, it's 11-10. Thunderstruck is 28-10, and Arrivederci at 9-2. Now I got you, who I think has got a better chance than it had last time out, to be honest, when it was a sprint. Travels up to 1,400 now. Now I got you is at 5.5 to 1. Okay, that's done and dusted. We agree on that one, Royal Victory. Let's go to race 6, which is the 3 Troika Stakes, Grade 3, 1,400 meters. This runs at 3:05. Let me tell you in race 6 that there are no changes as of this morning at 7:30. And we need to run through this one pretty quickly because we are running time. We have dwelt on races a bit, but let's talk about race 6. What do you fancy here?
I think it's a very open race. I like number 3, Rock the Fox, as my first selection. I see it's gone into favourite now. Calvin Abib, Sean Terry, nicely weighted, drawn 2. Blinker strike here this afternoon. A lot of very good runs there. The second selection for me is number 4, Queen of Smoke. Still, you could say slightly unexposed. I think she could be anything still. Then number 7, Kinky Boots. I don't know. Kinky Boots, I know this is a very talented individual. Let's see how she goes today. So I'll certainly keep her close. And then a horse like number 5, Moraine. How was that run behind Captain Peg, where she did beat number 3, Rock the Fox? So big runner as well. And then I'll mention Bless My Stars and Miss Cool as well. But Bless My Stars is held by Rock the Fox on that last run. So for me, 3, 4, 7, 5. Not easy.
Okay, my first choice is Queen of Smoke. I liked that last win. Of course, she was demoted. Wasn't she? Because she lost it in the objection room, and plenty of people have had quite a bit to say about that. She may well, have her day in the sun today. And if you do the interview, I wonder whether Stuart Pettigrew will be there to do the interview. But anyway, we'll wait and see what transpires. We're already jumping ahead of ourselves. But I liked Queen of Smoke. I thought Rock the Fox had a chance. Interestingly enough, I thought a horse that's run 2 bad races in her last 2 will improve today, and that's a horse called Berengaria. Number 6, right down at the bottom at 25 to 1. I think she's better than her last 2. If you go to that run to Miss Daisy, she comes into it with a bit of a chance, Lyall. So I don't.
You're right, Nico. She did.
The 6.
She beat Rock the Fox there. You make a good point.
Yeah, I looked at that run. And I thought at 25 to 1, she could run better. If she brings her A game to the course, she could run better. But my first choice is Queen of Smoke, and I think she's been running consistently well. Although I have healthy respect for the top one, Rock the Fox. Okay, race 7. Let's move on to that, which is the Grade 3 London New Stakes. It's over 1,800 meters. And in the 7th race, it is all clear. Surprisingly, only a field of 6 here. It's normally a lot bigger than that. But the Summer Cup winner comes back. The Betway Summer Cup winner is Puerto Manzano. It's the even money favorite with a Red Saxon, second base, and Electric Gold behind it. What are you going for?
Well, yeah, I mean, Puerto Manzano, this is a definite banker for me. I'm very confident. Over and done. Another Group 3 for Puerto Manzano on paper. He's weighted to win. We know how good he is. He's drawn well. 1-for-1 course of distance. I mean, there's not one single negative about Puerto Manzano. I don't think they can beat him. But I do have respect for the wonky horse. I say wonky with inverted commas. Electric Gold. Because, I mean, this horse hasn't run anywhere near horses like Puerto Manzano. But 51 kilograms. And if you actually look at the weights, not the worst in the world. So I thought Puerto Manzano will win this race. And I thought Electric Gold could run a nice little place.
Okay, so I have exactly the same sentiments as you. We'll tip the exacta here. Puerto Manzano to win, and the 5.5 to 1 chance Electric Gold to run second. Interestingly, Royal Victory, who we labelled earlier on in the Tony Ruffle, beat this by 2 3/4 lengths in the Dingaan. So we'll be able to see how well Royal Victory runs in order to get a good line. But I've tipped them 1 from 5 here as the exacta. So that's the way that we're taking that race. We're taking the straight line exactas.
I'd be surprised if it actually ran any other way, but yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I've put
Take away.
I'm not going to be silly to do that, but my workings out here, you'll be able to see here at the bottom here, it is all gobbledygook, but it works out that
Yeah.
there is a certain distance that I'm expecting them to be between them, and I'm very interested to see whether that distance holds up. I'll tell you at the track whether we're right or wrong. Okay, let's move on to the 8th race now. We don't have much time of show left, just the 5 minutes here. Scratch the numbers 2, Bureau de Lejeune, and 4, Snow Palace. And number 5, Wakanda. They've taken the tongue tie off this one. Now only a field of 7 runners. How do you view it?
Well, we've got our bankers out the way, so I thought it was open in meaning that the 4 of them had a chance. 9, Silver Hills, 5, Wakanda, 8, Tulip Tree, and number 1, Terror Time. I thought they'd fight it out, and that's the order I'll be going with. Silver Hills won a very good race, first selection, but I do have respect for the other 3.
Okay, I'm also on Silver Hills, so once again, very much the same horse here. The Mother Ash Cloud won 2 Oakses, so the distance is absolutely no problem, stepping up from a 14 to a 1600. She won well enough. Back to the Future won well in the next start.
In fact, Nico, I must have said the fact that she won over 1400 is actually quite incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a good win.
The half brother is Pakaya, who was a well thought of horse in Cape Town from the Justin Snaithwaite that really didn't live up to expectations. He was by Trippy. Silver Hills is by Silvana. There's umpteen opportunities that are in front of this horse's career. And Cabello Mazziniani gets on from a good draw carrying 52 kilos. So Silver Hills for us at 5-2 is the top choice over here. You mentioned second Wakanda. The tongue tie comes off. I gave that a chance. I'm expecting number 6 to run a better race than it did last time, Ode to the Ocean. I'm not saying it can win, but I certainly think it's in and out. It's time for a good run. It runs one bad, one good run. If you look at it, and maybe it's time for it to run a good race. So I think that it might run up into the quartet over. Okay, race 9. It's the lucky last, as they call it. It is Fillies and 75 handicap, and it's over in the 9th race. Scratch is number 8, Risky Business is out of the last race, and that is the only change there. And can we complete off our preview by agreeing on the 9th race, because we've agreed on most of them. I think there's maybe only 1 or 2 that we haven't had a coffee on anything, so that's pretty interesting.
No, we haven't.
But Give Me a Light is the favorite here at 15-10, it looks like. Quantum is at 9-2, United Council at 5-1, Princess Ozma is at 11-2, and Pascal Samurai is at 7-1. While I take a sip of coffee, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought that, again, there were 4 of them that could probably win this race. And the 7 United Councils, my first selection. Muzi for Robbie Sage. They're so good together. Number 5, Quantum. I did that interview with Eric Laird last time. I was in shock when the horse won at 6-1. But Alex said this horse is obviously a lot better than she has been showing. It's got to be a runner again. Number 2, Give Me a Light, an obvious contender. Drawn in 1, 2 excellent runs so far. And then number 1, Princess Ozma. I want to mention that one as well with the 60 kilograms. So I think maybe you're more confident than me in this race. I thought 7, 5, 2 and 1. I'd go with those 4.
Yeah, I had the opportunity of calling Give Me a Light's first run home. It weaved its way right through the traffic coming from off them to beat Mighty Goddess, who was labelled by many as the best bet that day. And this one came through at 40-1 and 1. I was very happy with the run behind Winter Greeting, because we know Winter Greeting won in Cape Town just a couple of days ago, and it's now 3 from 3, well-bred horse. I remember us speaking about Winter Greeting sometime back when she made her debut. Very well-bred horse. I'm very much in Give Me a Light's camp. I think whatever beats her will win. In terms of running second and third, I'm not quite sure, on what will run second or third, but I sort of will lean maybe towards the way that they've got them in the betting here. Pascal Samurai, everyone ignores this horse every time it runs.
Every time.
It's gone up tremendously. I mean, it was at 51, I think it's now 70. So it's gone up 19 points in the 3 wins. But the point is that it can roll start to finish. So if it's having a good day, it may well go start to finish. So I'm very much in Give Me a Light's camp. I'll put it that way.
Good. I'm glad, because I wasn't sure. So that's good.
Yeah.
Gives me some confidence. That's fine.
I like that quite a bit. Okay, Lyall, we're looking forward to working with you a bit later on. Thanks very much for your input. We do have the Clocking the Gallop direct line, which once again, we remind people to get on board. You've got until Thursday midday to get on board the direct line for 250 Rand, and you'll get this sort of assessment that Lyall and I have come up with today. Lyall, have a great new year. I know you, Charlene, and the kids have been working hard during the festive season. I hope it's a great year for you guys, and thanks for being very much being part of Clocking the Gallop.
You too, Nico, and I will see you later.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.